There's a woman that has struggled with a female issue for 12 years. She's had this issue. It's been known as an issue of blood. And ladies understand when you have that, it's painful. It's difficult for women. Imagine having a female issue, a constant pain in your body for 12 long years. This woman goes to the doctor, spends everything that she has, and the doctors can't help her. She's weak. She's in pain. She is struggling with this every single day. And she hears of a man that's coming to town. And they say this man is a healer. And they say this man has performed miracles. And that all kinds of things have happened. Now this woman is faced with pain when she goes to bed. She's faced with pain when she gets up. She's faced with pain every day of her life. And she says to herself, I might as well try, right? I might as well try. And she makes a decision. She says, if this man, this healer, is as powerful as everybody says, all I want to do is just touch the hem of his garment. Just touch a piece of his garment and I'll be made whole. So she goes on a particular day when she hears that this man is in town, and of course, because of his fame and everything that everybody says about him and what happens everywhere he goes, there's a crowd of people. And he has disciples that are around him that are essentially acting like bodyguards now, trying to keep people from knocking him over. And people are bumping into him. And you could get the picture. It's almost like a rock star. You know, it's like my mom used to tell me about when she went to see Elvis. They got so overwhelmed when Elvis came out. Just passed out. I thought, what in the world? Mom, I don't want to hear this. God bless her soul. She loved Elvis. But the lady knows she can't get to him. She can't walk up and touch him. So she gets down on her hands and her knees, and now she's in pain. She is having severe pain in her innermost being of her body. And she's on her face, crawling and dragging herself and reaching. And can't you just get the idea that as soon as she saw a piece of the garment, she'd reach for it, and then he'd take a step and she couldn't get it. You know, people were stepping on her because people don't care. People, when they're only concerned about them getting an autograph or them getting touched or them getting whatever. But finally, she reaches and she gets a piece of that garment. Well, by now you figure I'm talking about Jesus. And as the writings tell us, when she touches him, he stops because virtue went out of him. In other words, she touched him in such a way he was affected. She was healed. But here's what I think is mind-blowing. He turns around and stops, and the crowd is stopped, and everybody stopped. His disciples are standing there. And he says, "Who touched me?" And the disciples are looking at him like, what? You cannot be serious. And he says, I want to know who touched me. And they say to him, everybody's touched you. Everybody. All these people, they're reaching out. They're touching you. They're knocking each other over. reaching out, bumping into you and touching you and almost knocked us over. What do you mean, who touched you? And he says, no, somebody touched me because I felt virtue go out of me, and this lady was healed. Now, let me just point something out. It wasn't the touching that healed her. Because all of these other people, let's say hundreds and hundreds of people, were nearby, and they reached out and touched him, and they didn't get anything because they were just there. But her touch was different. Why? Because it was her want to that got an effect in her life. How big is your want to? How great is your want to? If you want to get run over by this cancel culture and not stand up for anything, you can do that. But if you want to take a stand, if you want to not give in, if you want to have some convictions and some beliefs, if you want to be able to bridge the gap to help people no matter where they're from, you can do that. You see, Jesus was touched by two different people that day. The average people who were just there to just reach out and say, oh yes, I touched him. And then he was touched by the second person, that woman with the issue of blood, who said, I believe. I'm willing to get on the ground. I'm willing to drag myself there. I'm willing to reach for. What are you willing to reach for? That's one of the problems that we have with this generation, is nobody wants to reach for anything. They don't want to reach for anything better. They don't want to reach for a better dream. They don't want to reach for a better goal. She was willing to reach for something that changed her life. Even if she suffered with it for 12 years, in one moment, it changed. What about you and me? What about us? We got to get a want to see things different, want to do something. May God bless all of us who want to do something different.